There's no one else who loves me like you used to. Sometimes we're not ourselves. There's no one I can turn to. And I know all the feelings that we shared out in the past. And I know your relationships are never meant to last. And I'll take some time, but I'll be alright. We're moving on. We're moving on. I know times are tough, but I've had enough. We're moving on. We're moving on. We're moving on. Sometimes there's no one else who loves me like you used to. Sometimes we're not ourselves. There's no one I can turn to. And I'll take some time, but I'll be alright. We're moving on. We're moving on. I know times are tough, but I've had enough. We're moving on. We're moving on. We're moving on.
Hey guys, welcome. You guys definitely want to like and share. Hey, I see you guys. You know, I like to give you recognition and call you out. I see you, Mom. I see you, Christina. I see you, James, Tony. Welcome, Scott Nelson, to the broadcast. First time seeing you here. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. Welcome, Dee Santrell. I can't get to all the names, but for those of you who are in the chat, let me know you're here. Let me know where you're from. Guys, welcome to episode 18. That is 1-8. Episode 18 of Unfiltered. Welcome, Stephanie. Good to see you. I'm excited to have you guys here. Let me get some business out the way first. We've got a short but power-packed episode today that I want to share some stuff with you guys. But listen, I need you all to understand how impactful just your showing up has been and your sharing has been. Several of the episodes have gone beyond 500 or even 1,000 views, and that would not be possible without you guys liking and sharing. So thank you all for not just keeping Unfiltered to yourself, but for sharing it with others, because my call here is just to get the word out. My call here is to make us think about things differently and to show what's happening in the world and to educate us. And in other words, to stay woke, although we know there's a battle against wokeness, and we'll talk about that a little bit at the end of the show. But for now, we give away cash every single episode. For those of you who are new, welcome. We do that. It's called Be Blessed and Stay Woke. And we are able to do that because faithful people have been calling me saying, okay, hey, we want to give something away. So we have some giveaways for you guys today. We're excited about that. We have a couple of giveaways, so don't keep it to yourself. Share it with some other folks. But also we want you to like and share the broadcast so that other people can see it. It helps the algorithm. My job is simply to get the word out. So for those of you who are watching, thank you, Stephanie, I see you. For those of you who are watching this episode on YouTube, join the chat. Join the chat. This is a conversation. It's not just about BC Wright, but it's about the viewers. You guys are part of the Unfiltered squad. Join the chat and make sure that that is on. If you're in Facebook, of course, you already know that you can do that. So that being said, guys, welcome. Let me go ahead and get in and get started. Before we start today's episode, I need to share with you all an update from something we talked about before. Do you all remember when Derek and I did an episode of He Said, She Said, and we started talking about some of the benefits of the American Rescue Plan and how it was going to affect some of you? Well, that time has come. If you remember, one of the things that we talked about was this child tax credit right here. The child tax credit is a credit that's going to be given to Americans who have children who are younger than 17. You can actually claim the children if they're older. And it's a monthly credit that's going to be given in the form of cold hard cash. Guys, those checks are going to start being deposited into your accounts tomorrow. I want to set that expectation so you know it's coming. Let's talk about what the rules are, what to expect, so you know what to do. Good morning, Gifty. I see you guys there. So what can you expect? If you filed your taxes within the last couple of years, your direct deposit information is already on file. You will be able to get a direct deposit. Guys, unlike, and you can see the data coming up there, but unlike the, what do you call it? The stimulus checks. Remember with the stimulus checks, they made it so you capped out. Well, this thing rewards being fruitful and multiplying, because you are able to receive a check for every single eligible child without a cap. So for children age 5 and under, if you have those kids, if you don't, please let someone else know and share this information with them so they know what to expect and they don't miss out. So if you have a child age 5 and younger, you can expect a credit up to $300 a month for that child, for each child that you have 5 and under. I know some people on here who have several of those. So for each child, for ages 6 to 17, if you have children in that age group, you will receive up to a $250 monthly payment every single month. Okay, up until the end of the year. These payments start in July, they end in December. You need to know that. But these are stipends that are coming because what they're doing is giving you your child tax credit for 2021. They are advancing it. And I see you, Stephanie. Thank you so much for inviting people to the broadcast. She's continuing to let people know that we're on today. Thank you so much for that. Okay, so what about age 18 and older? I got grown kids. If they are age 18, you can get a $500 one-time check, but that'll be delayed till 2022. Also, if they're 19 to 24 and they're full-time college students, they make some amendments for that as well. But who qualifies? How much money do you need to make? Are there some people who are going to not qualify? Well, let's take a look at that. You guys, if you're on your big screen, you should be able to see what's happening at the bottom. Those are the amounts. Now let's take a look at the AGI, the adjusted gross income. What do your taxes look like? So for those of you who have children age 5 and younger, you are going to be able to receive, let me take the amounts down so you can see it. Here we go. Amounts. There we go. Hold on, I think oh, I don't know if I put the AGI up there, so I will just have to tell it to you myself. So for those of you who are let me look it up here. I always have my notes here. Thank you, goodness. For those of you who are in the age, I think the bracket is like under $90,000. There's like a huge amount of people who qualify. And I have it in my notes here. So I'm going to come back to it after the break and tell you, but most of you will be qualifying. What I also need to let you know, because I don't want to disrupt the broadcast, but I'm going to get you that information about the income requirements. But here's another thing I need to let you know. Everyone doesn't want to receive the monthly checks. So if you don't want to, you don't have to. You can actually go to the IRS's website, and let me read to here what you need to Google to be able to find it. You can go there to the IRS website, irs.gov, and look for the non-filer sign-up tool. By finding that, if you didn't file, you'll be able to get your credits for your children. But also you can go to their site and opt out of the payments if you prefer to get your entire child tax credit at one time. So that is what we're talking about as far as the child tax credit. Before we get into today's show, how did you guys like that? I know some of you are super excited who have children on the broadcast. So thank you guys for that good information. Come in tomorrow. Congratulations to those of you who have been fruitful and have been multiplying. So that being said, we're going to go ahead and get into today's show. Now, actually, I'll do it right after this. I know it's early, but I'm going to tell you that after I do Today in History, I'm going to do our first giveaway of today. And I'm doing it early. So stay tuned for that in just a few moments. But let's talk about today in history. Guys, we're honoring a couple of people today in history. One of those people is going to be none other than Mr. Arthur Ashe. Arthur Ashe actually is going to be celebrated this month because he was born this month. We're also going to be honoring Nelson Mandela as well. Nelson Mandela also in the month of July. Those are the two people we're honoring. And we're going to have some quotes for them coming up in just a bit here. But that being said, let's get into the first giveaway. Guys, you know what we do here on Be Blessed? Every single segment, we give away money. So the early bird is going to get the worm. And as the broadcast goes, more people join. So the early birds are really beating the odds today. Here's what I'm going to tell you. All you have to do, for those of you who are new to the broadcast, is put in a number 1 through 100 into the chat. That number has already been decided and it's in my head. Maybe I should write it down somewhere. No, I know what it is. So the number has already been decided. I will put it in the chat. Okay. After everyone has done their guess. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go ahead over here and I'm going to start a 30-second timer. While that timer is going, go ahead and put your number 1 through 100 in the chat for today's first cash giveaway in the Be Blessed segment of Unfiltered. All right, let me see where we are. All right, we got, hey, Michael Merrill, welcome to the broadcast. I see some people are still putting up numbers. So we're going to give you guys a few minutes to keep putting those numbers up, just a few more minutes to keep putting those numbers up. Guys, welcome. We got Christina coming in at 75. Let me see who's close here. Stephanie coming in at 54. These people are close. We got Santrell at 63. Hey, Santrell, welcome. Jackie at 32. We got Sade at Croft. Welcome, Sade at 84. All right, let me see. Guys, the first number for today is actually 55. I woke up this morning at 5:55, and so that number is 55. There's no rhyme or reason to it, so you can't guess it. You couldn't figure that one out, but the number is actually 55. And Stephanie Croft guessed 54. So Stephanie, you are the winner of the first giveaway today. That will be $100 in either Bitcoin or it will be in cash via Apple Cash. Oh, Tasha, you're late. I already announced it was 55. So you'll have to get in on the next giveaway. And I already announced the winner was Stephanie Croft. So welcome. So listen, you are the winner of our first giveaway. That'll be $100 in either Bitcoin, Apple Pay, or Cash App. You guys know how we do. And when you win here on Unfiltered, all you have to do is send me an email to beblessed@bcwright.com. And let me put that on here to show you guys. beblessed@bcwright.com. Take a screenshot. We have several more giveaways during today's show. All right, so let's see what's up next on our agenda for today. It's time to get into the show. So guys, listen, over the past month or so, you know, when I come on and I do these shows and I don't have a guest, I just get to talk to you about what's going on in the world and the different things we need to pay attention to. And yesterday I was kind of looking at things and I was going, it seems like crisis, crisis, crisis everywhere in every single area of our lives. Does anyone else feel like that? That every time you look up, there's something new happening. There's something else seeping into the conversation. There's something different going on. And I started thinking about the fact that this is the 18th episode of Unfiltered. And the first thing that came to mind was the 18th hole. And I thought to myself, are we there yet? Why did I say, are we there yet? Are we at the 18th hole yet? Because there's a game that's being played. So the question becomes, are we there yet? Have we finally gotten to the 18th hole so that we could drop the ball and move beyond it to get to wherever we're going, to get to wherever the next level of this game is called life, right? And so I started thinking about it and I thought about it and I said, well, there's crisis after crisis after crisis, but there's another word that describes this even better. And that word, guys, is called FUD. Anybody know what FUD means? Put it in the chat before I put it up there. Anyone? Christina Colwitt says, I was just telling someone that yesterday. It's one thing after another. Anyone else? Anyone know what the word FUD mean? I mean, I wish it started with foolery because a lot of it is foolery, but I'm going to give you the definition of FUD defined right here. It is fear, uncertainty, and doubt. It is a collection, not just one. You got to get them all together, guys. It's a collection of mental states that can influence people's thinking in a variety of situations. But here's the deal. It's often used to manipulate people's behavior. There is a lot of FUD going on right now. But you know what else when I think of FUD? I think of Elmer Fudd. You guys remember Elmer Fudd? He was this cartoon character who would chase Bugs Bunny around, right? And he looked very unassuming. He talked a little bit funny, could never seem to get his words together, kind of had a little bit of a worn, raggedy look about him. You wouldn't think about him. He was unassuming. But did you guys know that he was actually rich, that he was a millionaire who owned a yacht? Go back and watch some of the episodes. It wasn't what it looked like, but he spent all that time trying to catch the bunny rabbit down the rabbit hole. It's not what it looks like. So when we think about FUD, it's not what it looks like. Let's first talk about what's happening on the political scene, the political crisis, if you will. Anyone watch Biden's talk yesterday about what's happening with voting rights? If you did, then what you probably saw first and foremost was him comparing it to, I believe, the civil rights violation. So let's take a look at this. Biden yesterday labeled what the GOP is doing in several different states, voting laws as the greatest threat to American democracy since the Civil War. What he said, in fact, was, let me read here, there is an unfolding assault taking place in America today, an attempt to surpass and subvert the right vote. You know what the right is, right? We're facing the most significant test of our democracy since the Civil War. That's what he said, since the Civil War. The Confederates back then actually never breached the Capitol like the insurrection we saw on January 6th. But Biden then goes further to say, now I'm not saying this to alarm you. I'm saying it because you should be alarmed. Should we be alarmed? Yes, we should be alarmed, but not for the reasons that you think. Meanwhile, while Biden is giving this speech, there are some particular people in the audience that I have to talk about today. The people who are in the audience that I have to talk about today are the Texas politicians who left. There are some Texas politicians who got on airplanes and left the state of Texas to prevent the Republicans from voting on the Voting Rights Act that they have in Texas right now. They literally got on a plane. And the response was that the Texas House Republicans are voting to track down those absent Democrats and arrest them if necessary. This all just happened this week. So guys, I want us to take a quick look at a clip, and then I want to share my thoughts, and I want you guys to keep sharing your thoughts in the chat. What's your perspective on this type of activity? So let's take a look. Oh, wait, before we get there, thank you, I'm ahead of myself. Before we get there, there's another thing I wanted to share with you. It's not just the Texas Democrats who fled. We also have this right here. Do you know what this scene is from? This scene is from a fist fight that happened at a town hall meeting that took place outdoors in California on behalf of Katie Porter, Representative Katie Porter. The Republicans, or the Trump supporters, as they call themselves, showed up and to confront the candidate and started a fist fight at the middle of the thing. Civil war? Maybe, maybe not. That being said, I want to show you what's been happening this week with the Democrats fleeing, with the fights going on in the field. But I want to show you this video. So let me get down here and show you this, because I think it's important that you look at it from all perspectives. So here we go.
Overnight, potentially risking arrest when they get back. Texas state Democrats blocking Republican bills on voting rights with a walkout gone airborne.
We had no other option, and so we took a stand.
Arriving in Washington, more than 50 state lawmakers on a pair of private planes from Austin. Their absence now preventing Texas Republicans from passing those voting bills, since they need 2/3 of the chamber present. Critics say the Texas bills would make it harder for minority voters by adding new identification requirements for mail-in voting, banning some early voting options like 24-hour and drive-through voting, and creating new criminal penalties for breaking election code. With the dramatic departure, the Democrats hope to highlight their mission and put pressure on Congress to act.
You must pass strong federal voter protection legislation, and you must do it now. You must do it before the August recess.
The U.S. Senate stalled on a sweeping plan that would protect voting rights. Republicans don't support it, and not enough Democrats want to change the Senate rules to pass it along party lines. But Texas Democrats are all but begging for backup. Texas Republicans slamming the walkout as a stunt, arguing Democrats are abandoning their responsibilities.
Well, I would say it's a very un-Texan thing to do, to cut and run in the face of a fight.
Overnight, the state's Republican governor suggesting the walkout simply delays the inevitable.
Once they step back into the state of Texas, they will be arrested and brought to the Texas Capitol, and we will be conducting business.
Nationally, more than a dozen states, including Florida, Georgia, and Iowa, have put similar voting restrictions in place, with bills in progress in many other places. Now, President Biden in Philadelphia today, planning to use the power of his bully pulpit in a speech focusing on voting rights. And NBC News has learned that the president, in those remarks today, will blast those new Republican-backed voting bills as the...
Okay, guys, was that the only option? I want you guys to put it in the chat. Was fleeing the state to avoid a quorum, to make the vote not happen, the only option? I asked this question seriously, and I ask it legitimately because I wonder, it doesn't matter if you're a Democrat or Republican. I don't associate with either one. I tend to vote the issues. But if you are, would it be okay for the other side to abscond? Is that the type of leadership that we're looking for in America? Or do we feel like they had no choice because by delaying the vote, then federal law could come in? But couldn't federal law come in anyway? You can see what my opinion is. But I want to hear what you all have to say. Was this a no other choice type of situation? Or is this just where we are in America, where we just run wild, we get on planes to leave the democratic process? The Senate is full of Republicans. The bill is going to pass. Are there other ways to fight it? Let me hear from some of you. I see D saying that's beyond foolery, but what's beyond foolery? Is it them leaving, or is it them having to leave in the first place? For me, as as an attorney who understands a little bit about the law, I have a problem with it. And I see you who says Republicans delayed the vote on Obama's SCOTUS pick for 11 months. They absolutely did. They delayed the vote. They delayed the vote for 11 months. Did it make it right? Do two rights make a wrong? Is that the country we're living in? Because we should be alarmed, but not for the reasons you think. We should be alarmed because there's been a shift in morale. We should be alarmed because there's been a shift in responsibility to the country. We should be alarmed because as of even before January 6th, what they're calling the insurrection, there was already a civil war in place. There is a war against lawlessness that should be happening right now. Are we to the point in this country where we're just vigilantes? We do what they did it to us, we can do it to them. Is that what we're doing now? Think about that, and we're going to continue the conversation about the FUD and the foolery. Fear, 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 uncertainty, 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 and what is the D? Doubt. Fear, uncertainty, and doubt. To me, that's what this type of behavior creates. Fear of what's going on in the country, uncertainty of who we can trust, and doubt about our democratic process. That being said, it is time for another giveaway. But before the giveaway, I actually think I did find the picture of Arthur Ashe, who we were going to be honoring. But for some reason, the computer just doesn't want to show you that picture. So I guess we're not going to see Arthur Ashe today. Are we moving into a tat for tat mentality? That's my question, Santrell. That's my question to each and every person on here. That is my question. Is it okay? I don't know. You tell me. Time for another giveaway. Hey, Michael Langford, welcome. Time for another giveaway. Let's go ahead and get those chat buttons ready. And we are going to be 1 through 100 again for another 30 seconds. Let me go ahead and start that 30-second clock. All right, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Let me see what you guys got over here. All right, we got 63, 37, 73. You guys, come on. We got a few more seconds for people to continue to put up the numbers here. Because here's what I'm gonna tell you. I'm not gonna say anything. So we got 32 over here with Melissa. I see you coming in at 32. We got Gifty down there at number 6. I see James Tony at 79. So guys, I did say that I woke up today at 5:55 a.m. The number is 5. The first one was 55. The second is 5. I know. Okay. The closest person to number 5 is actually Miss Gifty Myers. Gifty actually won, $357 last week on Unfiltered, and the number was 21. It turns out that her birthday is July 21st, and she's going to be blessing 7 people up until her birthday. So that worked out perfectly. So $100 will be going to Gifty in the form of course, either Bitcoin or her product of choice. So we can do Apple or you see, study long, study wrong. Dee says she thought about it and didn't put it. Always go with your first thought. So we're gonna do Apple Pay, Cash App, or Bitcoin. So you know what to do. You guys just send me an email again over at beblessed@bcwright.com. And I have, oh my God, I have to talk about this. I have so many other topics to talk about, but I got to get to this one because we're running out of time. I'm going to have to save the funny money probably and the woke conversation for the week after next, because we got Attorney Murray coming back next week. But I do want to talk about this topic before I let you guys go today. Okay. And I might even have one more giveaway if you'll stay with me. So listen to this. So that's the political crisis. But we also have a real health crisis. Like there's a real health crisis. But in the midst of this real health crisis, we hear the numbers are going down. No, the numbers are going up. Vaccinated people are protected from the Delta variant. Oh, maybe not. If you got one shot, you're good. No, if you got one shot, you're 20, 30%, depends on who you listen to. Oh, we need a booster. They need another booster shot. And then the CDC comes back and says, hold it, slow up, Pfizer. They don't need a booster shot. So they're against each other. We don't know what the narrative is because the data keeps changing, right? We don't know what's going on. Even the facts about herd immunity. This goes back to our trust in our society. It's a lot of confusion going on. So at the beginning, Dr. Fauci said 60 to 70%. That's what we needed for herd immunity. But recently, he's now changed it from 75 to 80 to 85 to 80+% in an effort to get more people vaccinated. So when your chief health officials keep changing the narrative and the story keeps changing and everything is so confusing, maybe that's one of the reasons why people are not willing to get vaccinated. Maybe that's one of the reasons, besides the fact that it happened so fast, maybe that's one of the reasons that there's a lack of trust. But you know what else there's also a change about? There's also been an interesting change regarding where the vaccine originated from. This change comes from Fauci, who before was very confident that it was animal to human transition. Let's watch.
He's not convinced that the virus developed naturally. Let's listen to this.
There's a lot of cloudiness around the origins of COVID-19 still. So I wanted to ask, are you still confident that it developed naturally?
Oh, I'm not convinced about that. I think that we should continue to investigate what went on in China until we find out, to the best of our ability, exactly what happened. Certainly, the people who've investigated say it likely was the emergence from an animal reservoir that then infected individuals, but it could have been something else, and we need to find that out.
Yeah, he's talking about that initial theory that this came, or it seemed to be the indication that this came from a wet market in Wuhan.
So let me see. He's not certain now where it originated from. It could have been man-made. There's a theory that it was man-made. What's going on? What is going on? Is this another attempt to continue the FUD, to continue increasing fear, uncertainty, and doubt that's happening? So now you have the health crisis where we're all over the place with the health crisis. You guys have probably seen this or you know about it, but there's other things going on. There's currently a heat wave that is happening out west where Canada woke up to find millions, and I mean millions, of sea creatures on the shore cooking in the sun because it is so hot. We have an environmental crisis. If y'all have been paying attention to what's happening in Tampa, then you know that in Tampa, there are tons of fish. Tish, you can tell me how many tons because you also read the article. I don't have it in front of me. There are tons of fish that have washed up on shore in Tampa, right here in the US. It wasn't from a fish kill, but because of what's happening with the hurricanes and the red algae and things like that. So we have that going on. We also have a mental health crisis. We also have a financial crisis. Anyone seen the inflation reports that came out, which would have led me to the conversation on funny money. I can't get into the conversation on funny money today because it's a longer conversation, but here's what I'm going to tell you. Do you remember us having a conversation about the fact that the United States stopped putting actual silver into your currency back, I believe, in 1965? Let me tell you something. Pay attention to the quarters that you give away, okay? Because those quarters, 1965 and below, are worth upwards of $9 for that quarter. Some are paying $20 for the quarter, depending on the condition. The value, that quarter has value because it has actual silver in it. pay attention to the money that you give away. When it comes to hard assets, when it comes to precious metals and commodities, the coins that we have today, the nickel is actually worth more than the quarter. But we're not going to talk about that on this episode because I'm going to do a whole episode on funny money so you understand what it is you're carrying around in your pocket. So that being said, guys, thank you guys for showing up today. I'm going to do one more giveaway. Hash is like, no, please get into it. We're going to, but that's kind of a historical conversation. I want to show you some things when it comes to that. We just ran out of time today, but that's okay because I wanted to do 3 giveaways. So that being said, let's get into the 3rd giveaway and then I'm going to let you guys go for the day. Guys, hey, Michael, check this out. We are going to do the 3rd giveaway and you all know how we do. 30 seconds, put your numbers in the chat, 1 through 100. Okay, family, let me look here and see what it is that we got. Oh, blind birds too falling out the sky. Michael, I did not know that one. You're going to have to send that one to me. I didn't know about that one, but there is a lot going on. Okay, so here we go. The final number for today. Let me see. We got Christina Callwood at 7. We've got Santrell at 12. We got James Tony at 100. We've got 65, 55, 30. Oh, some good numbers coming up here. All right. So Trina King Flukas at 15. All right. I finally see the winner. Okay. Today is the 18th show. Congratulations to Sharday Croft. You won $100 on Unfiltered. Congratulations, congratulations, and welcome to the show. We hope you enjoyed it, and we look forward to seeing you back next week. Sharday, just so you know, this is how you get in touch with me, and be blessed at bcwright.com is where you're going to go to send me an email with your information so I know how you would like to receive your funds. If it's Bitcoin, send your Bitcoin address. Otherwise, send me your Cash App or Apple Pay phone number, okay? So guys, that is it for us on this episode of Be Blessed and Stay Woke. I want to end with some closing thoughts. We started the conversation about the fact that this is the 18th episode, and there seems to be so much crisis going on in the world, okay? Whether it's political crisis, whether it's a health crisis, whether it is environmental crises. He mentioned birds falling out of the sky. I didn't even know about that. You know, there's a lot going on, but I want you to pay attention to the narrative. And I want you to pay attention specifically to the FUD. Is it something, hey, Alona, welcome. Is this something that is designed to increase your fear, uncertainty, and doubt? I'm going to submit to you that a lot of the things that are happening are designed to do just that. But here's what we're going to do. We're going to stay informed so that we can influence the conversation. Okay, we're not going to remain ignorant to what's happening and just look at that and sit back in our chairs and just become frozen. Because a lot of the times, what does uncertainty make us do? What does fear make us do? What does doubt make us do? It freezes us in time. It paralyzes us. We start to move in slow motion. We start to not make decisions for our families and not make decisions for ourselves that could change our outcome. But we on Unfiltered aren't going to do that, because regardless of what the left or right or whoever you're talking to says about this concept of being woke, we're determined to do that. Because what does it really mean? It means to have an awareness of what's happening around you. I'm not tying this to the Black Lives Matter movement. It was way before that. I'm not tying this to any movement. I'm tying this to a movement of our minds. That when we see something, we have to ask, are we being taken down the rabbit hole? FUD. Right? Elmer Fudd. When you think of that, think of, okay, are we being taken down the rabbit hole? Is this really not what it looks like? And have we finally gotten to the 18th hole so we can begin the new game? Because even when this agenda has fulfilled itself, there'll be a new one. So what we have to learn in this season is how to recognize it so that we can rebel against it in our minds and continue to move forward for our families, for ourselves, for our dreams, and for the generations that are coming behind us. We got to put on a different set of glasses and take a look at the world for what it really is. And right now, it's just a lot of fun. So that being said, guys, thank you for being here for another episode of Unfiltered with BC Wright. Don't forget, you all asked for it. Attorney Winfield Ward Murray will be returning next week for part 3 of Race and Reality. We're going to be talking about some things regarding redlining and how the land was taken away from disadvantaged people of every color. We're also going to be talking about an underground city, not an underwater city called Lake Lanier that used to belong to African Americans in Georgia and how it all happened. So don't just show up by yourself. Bring 2 or 3 people with you and learn right here on Unfiltered. Until next time, though, guys, be blessed and stay woke. I love you.
Beg